In previous episode, we saw the group ascends to the second floor of Dark Castle where things escalate fast. Instead of a demon matching their power, a powerful Tier 3 demon, Earl Tantil, is summoned unexpectedly. Dokja Kim steps up despite not being Junghyuk, defeats the demon using overwhelming skill, and earns a powerful historical grade story, Insect Genocide. His ranking in the castle jumps to 11th. Meanwhile, Junghyuk learns his name was spread across the castle via a demon's death curse, making him a target. As Dokja's group adjusts to the increasingly dangerous scenarios and unclear objectives, tensions rise. They're warned that only those who desire stories, not survival, can advance. A prophecy then reveals that Dokja will die at the hands of someone he loves. The group encounters powerful Tier 4 demons but is saved by a mysterious ally, Hewon, who brings them to a safe haven, a city built within the scenario, offering refuge from the endless trials. However, not everything is as it seems, and the threat is far from over. And they can sleep and eat as much as they like. He asked them to live any way they wanted to, without the pressure of having to complete the scenario. They can stay the rest of their lives there, just as they used to live before the destruction began. Suddenly, a demon appeared there, and two men put their swords on him, saying that the place wasn't safe, but the guards interrupt them and ask them to put their swords down. They reveal that the demon is also a citizen of paradise. The demon speaks himself and assures them that he won't hurt them, and it pains him to see that they still hold on to the prejudice. He is sad that some demons are bound to feed on human lives. Ji-hye and Soo-young are watching this shockingly. The owner assured them that no other place in the star stream is safer than the land they are standing on right now. The people asked him about his identity, and he introduces himself as Reinheit von Yerba, and he arrived there 800 years ago before they did. He is the master of paradise, of the castle of paradise. After some time, a lady thanks Hewon for saving them earlier. She is glad that she seems to be doing well. She recognizes Dokja when he was at Yunho Station and is also grateful to him for saving them. Her daughter also thanks him, and after that, Hewon congratulates him on his resurrection, saying it took a while. Dokja just says she doesn't seem happy about his arrival, but she asks him to talk to her privately for a moment. She then tells him that she arrived in paradise 4 days ago, and on her first day she distrusted everything. On her second day she suspected everything, but then she started wavering. On her third day, today is her 4th day when Dokja arrives there, and suddenly she starts thinking about whether it is meaningful for them to continue clearing the scenarios. Dokja asks her if it isn't too quick for her to waver like that, or maybe she has been feeling that way deep down inside all this time. Suddenly, they see 2 guards dragging a man who asks them to let him go and says he will pay for everything he stole. Hewon tells him that the place is safer than Seoul and that the different species don't discriminate against each other. They are willing to help each other out when the need comes. There is also a house for everyone to live in, and there is also work for everyone. They don't have to worry about being betrayed by their friends or being attacked by monsters at night. They don't have to live being chased by the scenarios, and they don't have to keep nightmares that they killed someone. Moreover, they don't have to end up losing anyone anymore. Dokja thinks he brought Hewon up himself after he entered this world, and she was someone who had to kill so that he could go on not killing. Dokja states she is free to stay if she likes it there, and he also thinks this place is very safe, and it could be that this is the safest place they can find out of all the scenarios. However, he refuses to stay there and will return soon. He reveals that this isn't the end and that he needs to keep participating in the scenarios. Hewon asks him what the end he is thinking of, and he replies he can't tell her about that. She asks him if the end will be a better place than this, and if everyone will be unhappy if they don't carry on with the scenarios. After that, Hewon says she will wait for him there, and that he can call her if anything happens. Dokja is surprised to see a white house on top of a land and thinks the lord of the castle usually stays in a luxurious residence within the castle. Suddenly, he uses the skill of perpetual motion and appears from nowhere and seems like watering the plants. He asks Dokja if he knows about these plants and replies that they bloom anew daily and are called paradise flowers. Their flowers bloom at dawn, bear fruit at night, and drop down, and the plant consumes the fruit to bloom its flower again. It keeps repeating this process forever, and the Lord is impressed by his knowledge and says he never gets sick of watching them, and their vitality is indeed awe-inspiring. Dokja says their name doesn't really ring true, and if this plant were really in perpetual motion, the flower would bloom even if he didn't water them. The Lord asks him to put such a little flaw aside when they have such beautiful flowers. Dokja asks him why he is looking for him, and he replies that he wants to say hello. He introduces himself again, but Dokja interrupts him and says he is the Lord of Paradise, Reinheit von Yerba. He is one of the notorious 10 evils that appear in TWSA, and Dokja checks his character profile and finds out that he has a demon attribute. His stats are outstanding. His overall stats have surpassed the scenario limit, and almost all his skill levels are at maximum proficiency. Dokja asks him why he wants to see him, and he replies that he is curious about the rumors he heard about him. When he entered the scenario, all sorts of beings talked about him. He couldn't help but feel threatened at that time. Dokja says he is quite humble for a demon marquis who is ranked second. Reinhardt is surprised and says he has really done his research, and Dokja wonders if he should attack him. It's not that he doesn't stand a chance, but if he kills him, this paradise will be ruined. Reinhardt reveals that in the world he comes from, Dark Castle was the 34th scenario, and he remembers the moment he fell into this place 800 years ago when these planes were completely empty. All he had was his rank, and even without any instructions, incarnations were hard at work killing one another. Therefore, he created this paradise, and the Dokkaebi call these places the graveyard of scenarios, but he begs to differ. Although he has become a blood-soaked demon over the years he spent there, he can confidently say that new life can blossom there where there are no more scenarios. Dokja thinks if he hadn't read the original novel, he might have been struck by his philosophy. Jung-hyuk called him the purest evil in the novel. He calls him Constellation Dokja Kim and says he must consider moving on to the next scenario. He asks him to give up since such a thing doesn't exist. He exclaims that many powerful men have sought out the hidden scenario, but none of them have even managed to clear the Dark Castle. They just end up in despair at the vanity of the scenarios, and he doesn't want him to become like them. Dokja asks him what he wants from him, and he asks him to protect paradise alongside him. He says he needs his help. Dokja hears some noises from a side where the man from earlier begs the guards to leave him. He says they don't need to do this just because he stole something. Dokja thinks just as perpetual motion can't exist on its own, and he knows very well that paradise doesn't exist without any sacrifice. He is notified that a few constellations are chuckling unpleasantly. The guards take the man inside the prison. After a while, Dokja calls him and says there is no such thing as paradise. Just like perpetual motion can't exist alone. He asks him to give him the next scenario. He already knows he found it 700 years ago. Reinhardt is shocked and asks him how he knew about it. Dokja says he even challenged it himself with some powerful allies, but he failed and survived alone. After that, he created this paradise. Dokja says all the scenarios of the star stream exist to stimulate, but nothing is stimulating there. Everything is too peaceful, and he asks him not to expect their deal with the Dokkaebis to last forever. There is no way the star stream would allow a space like this for so long. Reinhardt then calls him Constellation Dokja Kim and asks what else he knows. He replies he knows everything, and maybe even things he doesn't know about. He states that Reinhardt will die and paradise will fall after a while. Dokja returns and Heewon asks him if he's done talking to Reinhardt. He observes that she still seems shaken, probably torn between her loyalty toward him and the comfort that paradise gives her. He calls her and asks if she wants to go shopping. Reinhardt watches him from a distance. He thinks that even if Dokja is a constellation, he's still only half of one. It's rare to see the 72 demon kings devouring newly made constellations in the star stream. Suddenly, he is notified that the constellation Black Flame Dragon is warning him not to take Dokja's words lightly. He is shocked that even the abyssal Black Flame Dragon, one of the most evil constellations, one that even the 72 demon kings prefer not to get involved with, is defending him. Reinhardt believes paradise will not fall because he has defended this place alone for 700 years and will never lose as long as he fights there. Meanwhile in paradise, Dokja and Heewon are walking in the streets. She says it's been a while since they were able to take a relaxed walk like this. Heewon asks him if there's anything he wants to ask her. He counters by asking what he should ask. She says he could ask about her favorite colors or food, and he replies that he wouldn't even ask those questions on a blind date. She asks if he's ever been on one. She reflects that they've never talked about such things. They never shared what they used to do, which schools they went to, or even their cell phone numbers. She feels it's too late to start now. She seems sad and says the souls they remember won't be there, even if they return. She asks why they should carry on with the scenarios when everything they used to know is long gone. Dokja praises her. He says she's good with a sword, calm and unforgiving, more so than anyone else in the face of injustice. Especially when she sees someone abusing power against the weak, she always puts herself on the front lines and never once complains. She doesn't trust people easily, but is actually very affectionate. She's also the first to come running when a companion falls in danger. He says he knows enough about her. Heewon responds that she's not that type of person. Dokja says he only knows these things about her because they kept participating in the scenarios, but they don't have a home to return to. That's why he thinks they should keep working on the scenarios. Just then, he is notified that the item he commissioned has arrived. Heewon says all this is a bit difficult for her to understand. Dokja replies that he's not saying this to make her act a certain way. She just has to keep living the way she always has. He had an item made from a fire dragon's bone, the heart of a demon, and the nuclei of various monsters. These are things only Heewon can use in this world. He gives her the sword of judgment and says, as he promised, they're shopping. This is her present. After some time, they are about to leave paradise. Suk-young calls Dokja a fool for doing this. He says his part here is done, and paradise isn't his to save. Soo-young asks if he will let things flow according to the original novel. He replies that it would be too hard to defeat Reinheit right now. If he tried, all he'd get is a bad story since Reinheit has too many supporters. She asks why he's left all his companions behind. Dokja replies that they all need some time off. She's angry, saying he treated them so well all this time, but now they've fallen for some dubious scheme from a demon they only just met. She understands why Heewon made her choice. She had a difficult time until now. Soo-young knows Dokja is just making excuses. They both know paradise will fall soon, and Heewon is still roaming its streets, not knowing what's going to happen. She's happy over the sword he gave her, and Dokja says it was her own choice to stay, so she must take responsibility. She asks why he's taking her with him. He replies that he can use her help. Suddenly, she punches him and kicks him badly, saying she wouldn't mind taking some time off. She changes the face of her avatar into Dokja and hits him. Then she asks what's next. Dokja simply says they'll forget about the scenario for 3 to 4 days and collect stories by hunting hidden pieces. She's surprised, thinking he always focused on the scenarios. He says he'll leave it to the others for once. For now, they'll pretend to be regressors. The next morning, Heewon wakes from a nightmare about paradise falling into ruin. She's been dreaming about it for days, thinking it may be because she declined the offer to become the captain of the guards there. Whenever she wakes up, she finds the sword of judgment crying out. The sword only cries when evil is nearby, but she hasn't seen anything resembling evil. She walks to the door and looks outside, wondering what evil lies there. On the other side, Gil-young says Dokja has abandoned them. Ji-hye says he left them to relax there. He asks her if she knows why main characters abandon their allies. He exclaims that it's because their allies end up getting in the way, and that Dokja left them because they were deemed useless right now. Ji-hye gets angry, and Ji-hye asks how Gil-young thinks Dokja is the main character. He says Master Jung-hyuk should be the main character, if anyone. She thinks the last 4 days have been far too peaceful, and all they've done during that time is train their skills in their free time and reflect on the advice Dokja left them. Dokja advised Gil-young to make his skills last longer. If he had any coins to spare, he recommended buying patience or indomitable persistence. He could also use the auction or ask his supporting constellation for help. He told Ji-hye that she had invested too many points into agility, and if she had any coins left, she should spend them to raise her strength and mana. Her fighting style would change drastically depending on the attributes she invested in. He advised Shin to focus on maxing out her taming and advanced interspecies communication. If she needed any other ring-related skills, he could always help her. Ji-hye goes to Shin and asks if she knows what Dokja used to do. She thinks Shin might know since she is his incarnation. Incarnations learn more about their supporting constellation as they grow more in sync with them. Shin replies that Dokja is a lonely man who loves to read. Ji-hye says they already know that about him. Shin says she gets images of numerous pages when she thinks of him, but she can't tell what they are or read what's written on them. She's sad that she doesn't know more and hasn't received a stigma yet. Ji-hye didn't mean to bring her spirits down. Suddenly, they see Hyun-sung going somewhere. He goes to Heewon and asks if something is worrying her. She replies that she has been thinking too much since things have been peaceful lately. Hyun-sung feels the same. They are notified that the constellation, the demonic judge of fire, is dissatisfied with Hyun-sung's actions. Their constellations are arguing while they sit there quietly and look at each other. After a while, he starts the conversation and says he's sure this peace comes at a cost. Heewon says Dokja must have left them there for a reason, and now it's up to them to find out why. Suddenly, they see some people protesting and demanding the next scenario. They want to move on to the next floor, and Heewon is shocked to see protesters in paradise. She wonders why they want to return to the scenarios. She recognizes a woman with her daughter from Junho Station, who is trying to tell the guards that she is not part of the protest. Heewon interrupts and asks everyone to calm down and step back. The guards ask her not to interfere because they're on official duty. The woman insists she just happened to pass by and isn't part of the protest, but the guards aren't listening. Heewon also shouts that the woman isn't a protester. A guard asks the others what they should do with her. He orders them to leave her since they had orders from the Lord, but then tells Heewon that the woman is a protester and starts chasing her. Heewon says anyone would run if being chased, but the guard asks why she ran if she had done nothing wrong. He exclaims that her crime will soon be revealed and they don't have time to waste. Heewon asks them to wait, but the guard angrily says they'll arrest her if she interferes again, even though the Lord ordered them to leave them alone. An old man comes to her and says they won't listen. This is the law of paradise. She asks him where they'll take the woman, and he replies that it might be to an underground dungeon that only guards can enter, and no one ever returns from there. The woman's daughter cries for her mother. Heewon and Hyunsung go to her and try to console her. She hugs Hyunsung and cries loudly. Heewon wonders if this is really paradise. Ji-hye comes to them and says they know what they need to do. They all understand what she means. Hyunsung says it's going to be a big deal, and they wonder if they'll be okay on their own. Ji-hye is sure Dokja left because he trusted them to take care of it. He has probably taken on something bigger himself. Gil-young says he must be fighting monsters, with a serious look on his face. Heewon also gets up and says they need to take care of this on their own, that they can't keep relying on Dokja for everything. On the other side, Dokja and Soo-young are riding in a sports car. She seems very happy and asks why he didn't do this earlier. He got this artifact by clearing a hidden scenario, an SSS-grade Fargini. He thinks this is what it's like being a special regressor, and imagines Jung-yuk enjoying the sweet life while they struggled with the scenarios. Soo-young is thrilled and says she refuses to live like a sucker anymore. She'll live selfishly for herself from now on. Dokja says that's what she's been doing all this time. She asks why he isn't saying anything. It's not every day they get to enjoy something like this. Dokja agrees in his thoughts. Back in real life, he would always work overtime and use public transportation because he couldn't afford a car. He suddenly shouts loudly that he is the main character, but he regrets it immediately when Soo-young stares at him in shock. Even the constellations are embarrassed by his outburst, and his clinginess even overtakes the abyssal black flame dragon. However, Dokja thinks things should be heating up in paradise by now. Given the original novel's plot, he knows they would be just fine on their own. He's surprised that everything is going so smoothly. At this rate, he'll clear the scenarios in no time. Suddenly, he receives a notification. An enormous fate is hoping for your death. Alarmed, he slams the brakes. The car jolts and stops after a heavy impact. Soo-young, enjoying the ride, asks what he's doing. He tells her to be quiet, shocked that he received a fate message. Not once, but 3 times in a row. He wonders what's going on. He tells Soo-young that someone has read his fate. He tries to recall if anything like this happened in the original novel. Soo-young asks if it's something like a future vision, and Dokja explains that it's similar, but not quite the same. Future vision shows a possible future. Fate, on the other hand, enforces that future upon its target. For example, if he presses down on the accelerator and uses future vision to look 1 second ahead, the car would be running. Knowing this, he could choose to avoid stepping on it. But with fate, if someone learns that Kim Dokja will step on the accelerator, that action becomes unavoidable, unless the fate is withdrawn or realized. Soo-young realizes that he will eventually step on the accelerator regardless, which creates a paradox. This proves that fate has the power to interfere with scenarios. She asks who can wield such a force, and Dokja answers that only beings called the Great Nebulae can read someone's fate. They step out of the car. Soo-young asks what exactly he saw in the fate notification. Dokja replies that it said, "You will die." Suddenly, a humanoid monster appears, unlike the weak ones they've faced before. Soo-young says he should have told her earlier. It was suspicious how smoothly everything had been going. Then a figure appears in humanoid form. Dokja smells ether from him and asks if he's an incarnation of Dionysus. The figure replies that he's here to deliver a message. Thanks for watching. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated. And hey, drop a comment if you have thoughts or new ideas or just want to say hi. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.